As the World Title Series marches on, we get pretty much the same status quo. We get some decent matches and maybe a little bit of development in the middle of it. In other words, what TNA has decided, they're going to focus as much as they can on the two protagonists of this entire situation, if that's the right word to use. And that's Ec3 and Matt Hardy. And I'll talk about their interviews at the end. But let's go through some of these matches here. The one that I did not care about at all was... which one was that? That was... Muhammad Ali Shira versus Aiden O'Shea. I had to think about it because there's several matches here that really are not that great. Eli Drake and Crimson's match wasn't any better. They were just there to keep them going. And they got to fill in airtime. Now, if you're going to be like this, why not do what you did last week? Show that, like, when it came to Eli Drake, who was it? I think it was Micah versus Eli Drake last week. So he went up against him, but you saw it, and I don't remember if this is right or not. You saw a highlight of it. You couldn't do the Crimson and the Eli Drake match or the Muhammad Ali Shira and O'Shea match as highlights. If you had, that would have given us something extra in the show. You could have thrown something in there that was surprising, TNA. And they didn't do that. I feel like these two matches could have been relegated to highlights because they weren't that memorable. I mean, it is good that Muhammad Ali Shira is allowed to try and show more character. That's very little character change. That's almost nothing. But it is something that he is showing. He's beginning to show arrogance. That's at least how I'm getting it. If they had taken the other two matches out, or better yet, if you relegated the two matches I just mentioned and then did the interviews for them, like the one for Eli Drake after he beat Crimson, and an interview for Muhammad Ali Shira himself, and allowed them to elaborate their own personalities, I think that would have been more better than doing like a panel again, because it really didn't feel very good. When you look at Josh Matthews and the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, I found it more entertaining to see them do that banter between one another than most of the matches, for the simple reason that there's just nothing going on. I am enjoying the Pope, and I am enjoying Josh Matthews. It's a very great change from seeing Taz and Mike Tenay. I'm sorry, it just is. If anybody like Taz, if anybody like Mike Tenay, I'm sorry, I'm just not too interested in them. But the match that I felt was the best one of them all would be Tigre Uno versus Manic. Now, I don't agree with this triple threat elimination match where Tigre Uno won his match. Now next week has to be a triple threat elimination match, which they call the playoff, which is kind of stupid. That's not a good name. They couldn't have just come up with a three-way dance where two of the three guys will move on and the last one won't. I think that would have been better, calling it the playoff. It's not baseball. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't. And I don't agree with having Tigre Uno actually win here. I just don't. I understand the reason why they're doing it, because they want to try and drum up more interest in the title series for the X Division. I mean, the X Division is an afterthought to them. And honestly, this is something they really need to work out with the X Division. Either drop the title, forget about it, and use the King of the Mountain title as the low tier card title, or work on making the X Division better. Because let's be honest here, having two of those small titles mean nothing. You're better off getting rid of one and keeping the other. That's the truth. Now, Eli versus James Storm. This was very sad to see that James Storm just turned face and he lost. And I'm not saying this is a permanent face. It's probably a short temporary thing. Because he's not there now. I mean, whatever work he's doing is very limited. So if he really did turn face here, it makes it even worse for him losing. If it's an actual permanent face turn, if he's still working with the company on these tapings. I just see nothing for him. He went from being such a relevant character to this, where Eli used to be as a enhancement jobber. I had to say it. It's sad to see this, but it is what it is. I gotta say this calmly. When it comes to seeing Awesome Kong and Brooke, I felt very torn. Because the crowd really wanted Brooke to win due to the fact that she broke her finger. I mean, Brooke has good size for a woman of her. She does have character. She can wrestle very well in the ring. But the problem here is that she should not go beyond this point. But the crowd made it so interesting to actually root for her because she was doing uphill battle. I'm sorry, you see I'm botching because it upset me that Kong had to squash her. And the worst thing was that she didn't squash her very well. Kong had to struggle with her. And that's where the problem lies. If this was Brooke versus Gail Kim again, I would have voted for Brooke to go over Gail Kim. Then you would have had Brooke in the top 16 instead of Gail Kim, which would have gave us something entirely different. And also Awesome Kong. But having to match these two women up, who both have had problems with Gail Kim, it is upsetting. And then you really want to root for Brooke. But you know Awesome Kong must win. And it just felt really bad. I just didn't like it. And I blame Gail Kim for breaking Brooke's finger. She was being sloppy that day, I remember. That's just me. I don't know about you guys. You can leave me a comment below if you believe that she was just damn clumsy. But essentially speaking, it was good to still see Kong win. But she had to struggle a little bit. And I really believe that it would have been better that she go up against someone else. I really do. I didn't want to see Brooke squashed here. I didn't. But hopefully now that she'll be out of it, she'll be able to let her finger heal. And then she can go back into the ring more properly. Let's see what's left. The Abyss versus Robert Roode. I really didn't care about this match at all because of the Abyss. I don't care about the Abyss. And this is sad. But I do mention the Abyss in my debate of the week that's following this. Well, actually, no, I have not mentioned it. It'll be in the second debate of the week on How I Booked TNA. I briefly talk about the Abyss. Because here, the Abyss is doing absolutely nothing. He just felt empty. I would have been glad that it was somebody else than him, but it is what it is. And even though Roode won, which makes sense, he is the King of the Mountain champion. I just didn't care that much. The thing that I cared about was the interview between Ec3, Josh, and Pope, as well as Matt Hardy. Now, you guys know what I've said. Matt Hardy is a good transitional champion. He is not meant to be a total main eventer. He just isn't. He's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. He does some good work outside the ring. But he doesn't have anything that's really substantial. He's just good. He's not great. So when you see the banter between him and EC3, you can tell who's much better. And I'm not putting down Matt Hardy at all. Matt did a good job. Like I've said, Matt's good. But you can see the difference between Matt's talking and mic skills compared to EC3. 100% different. Does it make me more interested in seeing the end of the World Title Series? Yes, it does. Because these are the two people that they're trying to sponsor the most. They may have all these other people we just talked about, well, I talked about it, that we see in TNA, but the two people we're supposed to care about are the ones that was on the screen talking with Josh Matthews and the Pope. And then that EC3 leaving, pissed off, saying, I don't even want to be in the same screen with this man. See ya! And then he had his own segment afterward. Speaks volumes that they actually are very invested in EC3. This is something I'm very glad about because WWE and NXT didn't know what to do with the guy. They really didn't. Here, even though it's not been great building for him, there's been a lot of ups and downs with him, he's still generally the best heel they have. And the best draw they have at this moment. Jeff isn't back yet. They haven't gone to India yet, so they would get a lot more interest there, and they're not there yet because they're still doing the World Title Series in the United States. The tapings are here. I'm sure they've already gone to India, and they've already come back, and they've done their tapings there as well. And whatever tapings they've done. So we really don't have a lot of star power on the show. It's just not there. The show is about matches leading to the championship. And comparing this to the WWE, and I saw the Slug Daddy's video where he said he wished there would not be a champion. Leave it for a couple of months. Let it fester for a while. In a sense, that is what TNA is is barely doing. Because the problem between the WWE and TNA, because they're both doing title series right now, is that the WWE is trying to give us a story, but they're rushing it so badly, rushing it, instead of letting it build, that we don't really care that much about it. This is all rushing to Roman Reigns, looking like Roman Reigns is going to get the title. And a lot of people are not fond of Roman Reigns. And I've said this myself in my Raw review, that I felt Cesaro should have won it, because between Cesaro and Roman Reigns, Cesaro is a little better polished. But if it wasn't about Cesaro, Roman Reigns is the only option they really had, because he's the best one they built, even though it hasn't been good. When it comes to TNA at this moment has exactly what the WWE needs to do. They're stretching this tournament out, giving everyone a chance to do it, but then there are no storylines behind it. There's no characters or any quirky nature that you can see from it. It's just matches. So when it comes between both companies, WWE is giving us some storyline, but rushing it to get the title on someone quickly. And with TNA, they're letting it stretch out, but they're not giving any storylines or any characters. And they're just stretching it out, which makes it a bit dull. But which one would I rather see? To be honest, I still watch both promotions. But I feel like TNA is giving me a little bit more, for the simple reason, at least I'm getting to see people I wouldn't normally get to see. Because a lot of people on WWE, they don't even give them the option. At least I'm getting to see all the people. I got a chance to see Eli Drake, the Master, the Prince of Eternia. I got to see Crimson, who I haven't seen in a while. They did show a little bit of Bram. They're trying to sponsor a little bit of Eric Young, even though it's not very good. They're letting us see the Awesome Kong and letting her pit herself against Brooke. I would have liked a little more talking from Brooke, but I understand why they haven't really done it, because they're kind of constrained and they made it that way. As much as I'm getting more story and a little bit of character development from WWE, at least I'm getting to see more people in TNA. That's the way I feel it. So this is my point of view. How about you? And I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. My first booking for TNA going into 2016 will be uploaded tonight. I'll upload this one later. I think maybe I'm finished. I'm going to upload it. But then the video already done of my booking will actually come up before the end of the night. So you watch for it. I hope you'll like it. And give me a comment on what you believe TNA should be doing in their bookings going in 2016. Have a good day and have a good night. Peace!